The hallways of Westridge High School buzzed with the usual Monday morning energy. Students rushed to lockers, compared weekend stories, and dreaded the upcoming math test in third period. Among them walked Tamara Johnson, her backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes fixed on the tiled floor ahead of her. Tamara wasn't like most of the other 10th graders. She didn't talk much, didn't join clubs, didn't raise her hand in class even when she knew the answers, which was often. It wasn't that she couldn't, it was just easier this way. Easier to blend in. Easier to get through the day without drawing attention. She had moved to this school district last year when her mom got a better job at the hospital in town. Being the new girl was hard enough, but being one of only 12 black students in the entire school made everything more complicated. Most days, Tamara just tried to make herself invisible. "Did you finish the history homework?" asked Lily, the one friend Tamara had managed to make since arriving. Lily was short with wild curly hair and thick glasses. Another outsider. "Yeah, it wasn't too bad," Tamara replied, adjusting her yellow headband. "The questions about the civil rights movement were pretty straightforward." Lily groaned. "I got stuck on the last one. Think I could look at yours during lunch?" "Sure," Tamara smiled slightly. Having a friend made things bearable. Even if it was just one. The first bell rang and students scattered. Tamara needed to stop by the bathroom before English class. She waved goodbye to Lily and turned down the west hallway, the one near the gym that most students avoided because it was farther from the main classrooms. The bathroom was empty when she walked in. Tamara glanced at herself in the mirror, adjusted her headband again, and then went into the middle stall. She had just closed the door when she heard the main bathroom door swing open, followed by multiple footsteps and loud laughter. "I swear, Mrs. Peterson is totally playing favorites again," said a voice Tamara recognized instantly. "Heather Wilson, the volleyball team captain." The girl whose locker was 3 down from Tamara's, but who had never once acknowledged her existence. "Tell me about it," another voice chimed in. "Zoe, Heather's best friend. Did you see how she gushed over Davis's essay? Like, we get it, you think she's perfect. Whatever. At least we don't have to worry about the winter formal committee. Principal Turner approved everything this morning," said a third voice. Brittany, the student council vice president. Tamara sat perfectly still. These were not girls she wanted to interact with. Not girls who had ever been kind to someone like her. She'd wait them out. "Hey, did you guys see that post about Tamara? The new girl?" Heather asked, her voice dropping slightly. Tamara's heart skipped a beat. "They were talking about her." "You mean the quiet black girl? With the headbands?" Zoe asked. "Yeah. Someone said she got a full scholarship offer to that summer science program, the one Brittany applied for and didn't get." Tamara closed her eyes. It was true. The letter had come last week, and her mom had been so proud she'd posted about it on Facebook. Somehow the news had traveled. "That's such garbage," Brittany said, her voice sharp with anger. "My dad donated to that program." "How does she even qualify? Her mom's just some nurse." "Respiratory therapist," Zoe corrected. "My mom had to work with her once. Said she was super stuck up about her daughter being gifted or whatever." Tamara felt her cheeks burn. Her mother had never been stuck up a day in her life. She worked 12-hour shifts and came home exhausted, but still made time to help Tamara with projects and encouraged her love of science. "I bet she didn't even write her own application," Heather said. "Probably had help. Or maybe it's just their diversity quota," Brittany added with a laugh. "You know how these programs are now." Tamara wanted to disappear, to melt into the floor, to be anywhere but trapped in this bathroom stall while 3 girls dismissed all her hard work as nothing more than her skin color. She heard the sound of makeup bags unzipping, lip gloss being applied. They were taking their time, in no hurry to get to class. The late bell would ring in 2 minutes. Tamara needed to leave now or she'd be late for English. Quietly, she gathered her courage and flushed the toilet, hoping maybe they wouldn't notice, would just keep talking and ignore her. The conversation stopped instantly. Tamara stepped out of the stall, head down, and moved toward the sink farthest from the 3 girls. In the mirror, she could see them watching her. Heather with her perfect blonde ponytail, Zoe with her expensive highlights, Brittany with her arms crossed over her designer sweater, all of them staring. "Well, look who it is," Heather said, smiling in a way that didn't reach her eyes. "The scholarship girl herself." Tamara washed her hands quickly, saying nothing. "Just get out," she told herself. "Just get through this." "We were just talking about you," Brittany said, stepping closer. About how amazing it is that you got chosen for that science thing. The way she said amazing made it clear she thought it was anything but. Thanks, Tamara mumbled, reaching for a paper towel. I should get to class. She turned toward the door, but Zoe slid in front of it. The bathroom suddenly felt much smaller. No, wait, we want to hear all about it, Zoe said. Like, what exactly made you think you deserved it more than anyone else here? I just applied like everyone else, Tamara said, her voice barely above a whisper. Oh, come on, Brittany cut in, moving beside Zoe. We all know how these things work. They need their token scholarship, kid, and you fit the bill perfectly. Tamara's hands began to shake. The late bell rang somewhere in the distance. Please let me by, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. We're all late now. Answer the question first, Heather said, joining her friends by the door. All three of them formed a barrier between Tamara and the exit. How'd you really get that spot? Did your mom pull some strings at the hospital? Or is it just because they needed to fill a quota? Tamara felt something snap inside her. Months of trying to be invisible, of ignoring whispers, of pretending not to notice when people moved away from her in the cafeteria. It all bubbled up at once. I got it because I deserved it, she said, her voice stronger now. I've been coding since I was 10. I built an app that tracks prescription needs for elderly patients. I submitted work that was good. That's it. The three girls looked momentarily surprised at her outburst. Then Heather laughed. Wow, she does speak, and she's got attitude too. Listen, headband girl, Brittany said, stepping forward. Nobody here is impressed. That spot should have gone to someone who's been part of this community their whole life, not some outsider who just showed up. Yeah, Zoe added. And that yellow headband is ugly, by the way, just like all your other ones. Tamara felt tears threatening to form. Don't cry, she told herself. Don't give them that. Move, she said, trying to step around them. But as she did, Heather's arm shot out, pushing her backward. Not hard, but enough that Tamara stumbled against the sink. What's the rush? Heather asked. Afraid you'll miss something important? Another opportunity to steal from people who deserve it more? Tamara's back pressed against the cold porcelain sink. This had never happened before. The whispers, the exclusion, the occasional mean comment, yes. But nothing physical. Nothing like this, hey! A new voice called out. The bathroom door had opened without any of them noticing. A girl with long braids stood there, phone in hand. Tamara recognized her as Danny from her math class. What's going on here? The three girls turned, startled by the interruption. Nothing, Heather said smoothly. Just having a conversation. Danny looked at Tamara, then back at the three girls blocking her way. Doesn't look like nothing. Mind your own business, Brittany snapped. I need to use the bathroom, Danny said, not backing down. So either you all can keep doing whatever this is with a witness, or you can move. There was a tense moment of silence. Then Heather shrugged. Whatever. We're done anyway. She looked at Tamara. See you around, scholarship girl. The three of them filed past Danny, each giving her a cold look as they left. When the door swung shut behind them, Tamara finally let out the breath she'd been holding. You okay? Danny asked, stepping closer. That looked pretty intense. Tamara nodded, not trusting her voice yet. Her hands were still shaking. I heard most of it, Danny admitted. I was in the stall at the end. The broken one no one uses, she held up her phone. And I recorded the last part. After they blocked the door, Tamara looked up, surprised. Why? Because what they did wasn't right, Danny said simply. And someone should know about it. No one will care, Tamara said, finally finding her voice again. Girls like that. They always get away with everything. Danny slipped her phone back into her pocket. Maybe, maybe not, but I've got it if you ever want to do something about it. She paused. And congrats on the scholarship, by the way. That's really cool. Tamara managed a small smile. Thanks. They both left the bathroom, now several minutes late for their classes. As they parted ways in the hallway, Tamara couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. Not just the bullying taking a more serious turn, but also the fact that someone, a near stranger, had stepped in to help. She didn't know it yet, but what happened next would shock everyone at Westridge High. The recording on Danny's phone would set off a chain of events that no one, especially not Heather, Brittany and Zoe, could have predicted. But for now, Tamara just hurried to English class, her yellow headband slightly askew, holding onto a mix of fear and the tiniest spark of hope that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as alone as she thought. By lunchtime, Tamara couldn't focus on anything her teachers were saying. The morning's bathroom incident kept replaying in her head like a bad movie she couldn't turn off. Every time someone looked at her in class, she wondered if they'd heard what happened. If they were judging her. If they thought she'd stolen that scholarship spot too. When the lunch bell rang, she grabbed her backpack and headed for the library instead of the cafeteria. She couldn't face the thought of walking past Heather's table, seeing those smirks, hearing those whispers. "Hey, wait up!" Tamara turned to see Lily hurrying toward her, lunch bag in hand. "I've been looking all over for you," Lily said, slightly out of breath. "Where are you going?" "The cafeteria's that way." "I'm not hungry," Tamara lied. "Thought I'd study in the library." Lily tilted her head, examining her friend's face. "What's wrong?" "You look like you're about to cry." Tamara shook her head, but the simple act of someone caring was nearly enough to break her. "Nothing. I'm fine." "That's total garbage and we both know it," Lily said, grabbing Tamara's sleeve and pulling her toward an empty classroom. "Tell me what happened." Once inside with the door closed, the whole story came tumbling out. The bathroom. Heather, Brittany, and Zoe. The scholarship comments. Being pushed against the sink. Danny and her phone recording. "Those jerks," Lily whispered when Tamara finished. "They can't just do that. They can't just push people around because they're jealous." "They can, though," Tamara said quietly. "They do it all the time. To lots of kids. So what are you going to do?" "Have you told Ms. Rivera?" Ms. Rivera was their guidance counselor, one of the few staff members at Westridge who seemed to actually see the quieter students. "No." Tamara shook her head firmly. "I'm not telling anyone. That would just make everything worse. But Danny has proof. She has a recording. And what's it going to change?" Tamara's voice rose slightly. "Heather's dad is on the school board. Brittany's family donates a ton of money every year. They'll get a talking to at most, and then they'll make my life even more miserable for reporting them." Lily opened her mouth to argue, then closed it again. They both knew it was probably true. "Fine, but at least eat something," she said, handing Tamara half her sandwich. "Starving yourself won't solve anything." They ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Lily's phone buzzed with a notification. She glanced down, then her eyes went wide. "Oh no," she whispered. "What?" Tamara asked. Lily hesitated, then turned her phone so Tamara could see. It was a group chat for the science club, of which Lily was a member. Someone had posted a blurry photo taken from outside the bathroom earlier that day. You could just make out Tamara backed against the sink with the 3 other girls standing in front of her. The caption read, "Scholarship drama in the West bathroom." Did anyone else hear what went down? Tamara felt her stomach drop. "How did they—" "Someone must have seen through the door window," Lily said. "This is from Tyler. He's in my chemistry class." More messages were popping up in the chat. "What happened?" "I heard they confronted her about stealing Brittany's spot in that summer program." "Did anyone record it?" Tamara grabbed the phone and scrolled through the rapidly multiplying messages. It felt like watching a car crash in slow motion. "Everyone's talking about it," Lily said softly. "I'm sorry, Tam." Before Tamara could respond, there was a knock at the classroom door. It opened to reveal Danny looking worried. "There you are," she said, stepping inside and closing the door behind her. "I've been looking everywhere for you." "How did you find me?" Tamara asked around. "Look, we need to talk." Danny pulled out her phone. "The recording? It's getting shared." "What?" Tamara and Lily said in unison. "I don't know how," Danny said quickly. "I only showed it to my friend Ava because I wanted her advice on what to do with it. She must have sent it to someone else and now—" She shrugged helplessly. "It's everywhere." As if on cue, Lily's phone buzzed again. A new message in the science club chat with an audio file attached. Tamara felt like she might throw up. "Play it," she whispered. Lily hesitated, then pressed play. The sound was a bit muffled, but clear enough. "Move," Tamara's voice said. Then Heather. "What's the rush? Afraid you'll miss something important? Another opportunity to steal from people who deserve it more?" Then Danny's voice louder. "Hey, what's going on here?" The brief exchange that followed was all there, ending with Heather's parting shot. "See you around, scholarship girl." The 3 of them sat in stunned silence for a moment. "I'm so sorry," Danny said again. "I never meant for this to get out. I just wanted to have proof in case you decided to report them." Tamara didn't respond. Her mind was racing. By now, half the school had probably heard the recording, which meant everyone would know what happened. Everyone would be talking about her. The exact opposite of staying invisible. Tamara, Lily said gently, maybe this isn't the worst thing. Now people know what they're really like. People already knew, Tamara replied. They just didn't care. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Then again. And again. She pulled it out to find messages from numbers she didn't recognize. Is it true? Did they really corner you in the bathroom? Did they push you? How are people getting my number? She asked, her voice rising in panic. Danny looked guilty. Your number is on the science club contact list. I think someone shared it in one of the group chats. The lunch bell rang, signaling the end of the period. Tamara felt paralyzed. The thought of walking back into the hallway, of facing everyone who had heard that recording. I can't go out there, she whispered. Lily squeezed her hand. Yes, you can. We'll go with you. They're going to stare at me. Let them, Danny said firmly. You didn't do anything wrong. Before Tamara could respond, there was another knock at the door. This time it was Ms. Rivera, the guidance counselor. Tamara, can I speak with you for a moment? The three girls exchanged looks. It'll be okay, Lily whispered. Go talk to her. Reluctantly, Tamara followed Ms. Rivera to her office, aware of the stares following her through the hallway. Some curious, some sympathetic, some just eager for drama. She kept her eyes fixed on the floor, just like this morning. Only everything had changed since then. Ms. Rivera's office was small but comfortable, with plants on the windowsill and student artwork on the walls. She closed the door and gestured for Tamara to sit down. I think you know why I asked to see you, she said gently. Tamara nodded, her throat tight. An audio recording is circulating around the school. Ms. Rivera continued. One that appears to involve you and 3 other students in the West bathroom this morning. Is that correct? Another nod. Can you tell me what happened before that recording started? Slowly, haltingly, Tamara recounted the entire incident, how they'd talked about her while she was in the stall, the comments about her scholarship, the blocking of the door. The push Ms. Rivera listened without interrupting, occasionally making notes. When Tamara finished, she leaned forward. Thank you for being honest with me. What those girls did was unacceptable, completely unacceptable, and it will be addressed. Tamara looked up, surprised by the firm tone. It will? Absolutely. Verbal harassment is serious enough, but physical intimidation crosses a very clear line in our school policies. Ms. Rivera's expression softened slightly. I know you're probably worried about what happens next. Everyone's talking about it, Tamara said quietly. And they have my phone number somehow. People I don't even know are texting me. I see. Ms. Rivera frowned. That's concerning too, and we'll address that as well. For now, would you like to call your mother? You can wait here in my office until she arrives if you prefer not to go back to class. The thought of calling her mom made Tamara's stomach twist with anxiety. Her mother worked so hard, often taking extra shifts. The last thing she needed was to leave work for this. No, I don't want to bother her at work. I'll be fine. Ms. Rivera looked skeptical. Are you sure? This is exactly the kind of situation where it's okay to ask for support. I'm sure, Tamara insisted. I have classes to go to. All right, but my door is open if you change your mind. And Tamara? Miss Rivera waited until the girl looked up. Congratulations on that science scholarship. That's a tremendous achievement. For the first time since the morning, Tamara managed a small, genuine smile. Thank you. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Teachers gave her concerned looks. Students whispered as she passed. Some even approached to express support or outrage on her behalf, which was almost as uncomfortable as the stares. By the time the final bell rang, Tamara was exhausted. She rushed to her locker, wanting nothing more than to grab her things and get out of the building as quickly as possible. But when she turned the corner into her hallway, she stopped short. Ode had gathered near her locker, and standing at its center was Ashley Thompson, captain of the girls' basketball team and possibly the most popular student at Westridge High. The same Ashley who had never so much as acknowledged Tamara's existence before today. Tamara froze, unsure what to do. Then Ashley spotted her and broke away from the group, walking directly toward her. The hallway seemed to go quiet. Hey, Ashley said when she reached Tamara. You're Tamara, right? The one from the recording? Tamara nodded warily, clutching her books tighter against her chest. I wanted to talk to you, Ashley continued. About what happened this morning. About what Heather and her friends did. The expression on Ashley's face wasn't way small crat Tamara expected. There was no amusement, no judgment. Instead, she looked angry. What they did was wrong, Ashley said, her voice carrying in the now silent hallway. Really wrong. And I want you to know that not everyone at this school thinks like them. Tamara stared at her, speechless. In fact, Ashley continued, a bunch of us are meeting tomorrow morning to talk about it, about all the bullying that goes on here that teachers never see or do anything about. We want you to come if you're willing. It felt surreal standing there with Ashley Thompson of all people, discussing bullying as if they were equals, as if Tamara's opinion mattered. I don't know, she stammered. Ashley nodded, seeming to understand her hesitation. Think about it. No pressure. She pulled out her phone. Can I get your number? So I can text you the details? You don't already have it? Tamara blurted out before she could stop herself. Half the school seems to. Ashley's mouth twitched in what might have been amusement. No, I don't participate in those group chats. Too much drama. She handed Tamara her phone. Only if you want to, though. Slowly, Tamara took the phone and entered her number. As she handed it back, she noticed something she hadn't before. Ashley was wearing a small yellow pin on her jacket, the same shade of yellow as Tamara's signature headbands. What's that? She asked, pointing to it. Ashley looked down and smiled. Oh, this? It's new. A bunch of people are wearing them now. She reached into her pocket and pulled out another one, offering it to Tamara. Yellow for solidarity. Yellow because we see you. Tamara took the pin, her fingers trembling slightly. I don't understand, she whispered. Why are you doing this? Ashley's expression grew serious. Because what happened to you this morning? It's not okay, and it's time someone finally did something about it. She glanced at the crowd still hovering near Tamara's locker. A lot of someone's, actually. As Tamara looked past Ashley, she realized the group wasn't just random onlookers. They were students from all different grades, social circles, and backgrounds. Some she recognized, others she didn't. All wearing small yellow pins. For the first time since that morning in the bathroom, Tamara felt something other than fear or embarrassment. She felt hope. Tamara didn't tell her mother about what happened that night. She meant to, really, she did. But when she got home and found her mom already in scrubs, gulping down a quick dinner before her night shift at the hospital, the words just wouldn't come. How was your day, baby? Her mom asked between bites of leftover pasta. Fine, Tamara said automatically. Nothing special. Her mom raised an eyebrow, that look she had that always seemed to see straight through Tamara's attempts to hide things. You sure about that? You're looking a little, I don't know, different. Tamara fidgeted with the yellow pin in her pocket. Just tired. Big test in science today. How'd it go? Good, I think. The questions were pretty much what I expected. Her mom nodded, seeming satisfied, then glanced at her watch. I've got to run or I'll be late. There's chicken in the fridge if you get hungry later. Don't stay up too late, okay? I won't, Tamara promised. Her mom grabbed her bag and keys, then paused at the door. I'm proud of you, you know, for that science program, for working so hard. Not many kids your age have that kind of focus. Guilt twisted in Tamara's stomach. She should tell her mom what was going on. About the bullying, the recording, all of it. But the words stuck in her throat. Thanks, Mom. Be safe at work. After her mother left, Tamara lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, the yellow pin resting on her stomach. Her phone kept buzzing with new messages. Some from Lily checking in, some from numbers she didn't recognize, mostly supportive but still overwhelming. And one from Ashley. Meeting tomorrow, 7:30 a.m., room 156, hope you can make it. She wasn't sure if she would go. Part of her, the part that had spent a year trying to be invisible, wanted to stay home tomorrow, maybe for the rest of the week. Let the whole thing blow over. The other part kept thinking about those yellow pins. About what Ashley had said. Yellow for solidarity. Yellow because we see you. Did she want to be seen? Really seen? Tamara fell asleep still wondering, the yellow pin clutched in her hand. Her alarm went off at 6 a.m. For a moment, Tamara considered hitting snooze, rolling over, pretending to be sick. But instead, she got up and went to her closet. She picked out her brightest yellow headband, the one she rarely wore because it felt too attention-grabbing, and put it on. Then she pinned Ashley's yellow button to her backpack where everyone could see it. If people were going to stare at her anyway, they might as well stare at the real her. The school was eerily quiet when Tamara arrived at 7:25. Only a few early birds were there, mostly athletes with morning practice and the occasional teacher. She made her way to room 156, her heart pounding so loudly she was sure everyone could hear it. When she reached the door, she hesitated. What if no one was there? What if this was all some elaborate prank? She took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The classroom was full. Not just a few students, but dozens. They sat on desks, leaned against walls, crowded around the teacher's podium. Tamara recognized faces from every grade, every social group. The quiet art kids who always sat in the corner of the cafeteria. Football players in their team jackets. Honor roll students with their color-coded notebooks. Even a few teachers stood at the back, including Ms. Rivera. And almost everyone wore something yellow. Shirts, scarves, pins, bracelets. One guy had even spray-painted his sneakers. The room fell silent when Tamara walked in. Then Ashley stood up from where she'd been sitting on the teacher's desk at the front. "You came," she said, smiling. "I wasn't sure if you would." Tamara looked around, still stunned by the turnout. I almost didn't. Well, I'm glad you did, because this is kind of about you. I mean, not just about you, but you're what started it." Tamara shifted uncomfortably. "Started what?" Ashley gestured around the room. "This, all of us coming together like this." She turned to address the room. "For those who don't know, this is Tamara. Most of you heard the recording from yesterday." Murmurs of acknowledgement rippled through the crowd. Tamara spotted Lily near the front, giving her an encouraging thumbs up. "What happened to Tamara wasn't an isolated incident," Ashley continued.
"Heather, Brittany, Zoe, and others have been bullying students at this school for years."
Making comments about people's appearance, spreading rumors, excluding people deliberately. She paused, and apparently now escalating to physical intimidation. More murmurs, these ones angrier. "But here's the thing," Ashley went on. "It's not just them. There's a culture at Westridge that allows this stuff to happen, that says it's okay to treat people badly if they're different or new or don't fit in with the right crowd." A boy Tamara recognized from her history class raised his hand. "So what are we supposed to do about it? The teachers know this stuff happens and they don't do anything." Ms. Rivera cleared her throat from the back of the room. "That's not entirely fair, Jordan. We can't address what we don't see or what isn't reported." "With all due respect, Ms. R," replied a girl with bright blue hair, "we all know reporting doesn't do much. My brother reported being bullied 3 times last year. All they did was make him and the kid who was picking on him sit in the counselor's office together. It just made things worse." Several students nodded in agreement. "That's why we need to change the approach," Ashley said. "From the bottom up. Us, the students. We're the ones who see what's happening. We're the ones who can decide not to be silent anymore." She pulled a stack of papers from her backpack and held them up. "I've been working on this all night. It's a proposal for a new student-led anti-bullying initiative. I'm calling it We See You. The idea is simple. We look out for each other. We document incidents of bullying. We support targets. We make it clear that treating people badly isn't okay, even if they're different." Tamara found herself moving closer to the front of the room, drawn in by Ashley's words. "The yellow is our symbol," Ashley continued. "Yellow because it's bright, it's visible, it's impossible to ignore. Just like we're not going to ignore bullying anymore. So what exactly are we going to do?" asked a tall boy near the window. "Like specifically?" "Good question, Carlos." Ashley grinned. "I've got some ideas. First, we document everything. Every incident, big or small. Build a record that can't be dismissed. Second, we show up for each other. If someone's being targeted, they're never alone again. Third, we take it public. Social media, local news if necessary. Make it impossible for the school to sweep this under the rug." Ms. Rivera stepped forward. "I want to make it clear that while I support students taking initiative against bullying, I cannot endorse anything that would disrupt the educational environment or violate school policies." "Respectfully, Ms. Rivera," Ashley replied, "that's part of the problem. The school's been more worried about disruption than the fact that students don't feel safe here." A tense silence followed her words. Then, to Tamara's surprise, Ms. Rivera nodded slowly. "You might have a point there," the counselor admitted. "So let's work together. Tell me what you need from the administration to make this work." For the next 20 minutes, the room buzzed with ideas. Students sharing stories of bullying they'd experienced or witnessed. Teachers admitting the limitations of current policies. Everyone brainstorming solutions. Tamara stood quietly, still processing the fact that all of this movement, this energy, had somehow sprung from what happened to her in that bathroom yesterday. As the meeting was wrapping up, Ashley approached Tamara with a sheet of paper. "Here's the draft proposal. I'd like you to look it over. Maybe add your own thoughts. This all started because of you, so you should have a say in where it goes." Tamara took the paper hesitantly. "I don't understand why you're doing all this. We've never even talked before yesterday." Ashley's confident expression faltered slightly. "Can I be honest with you?" Tamara nodded. "Before I came to Westridge, I was at Lakeside Middle School. I was the new kid there, and I was different. I liked sports when the popular girls were into fashion and makeup. I spoke my mind when they wanted everyone to just agree with them." She paused. "They made my life hell for 2 years, and no one did anything. No one stood up for me." She touched the yellow pin on her jacket. "When I heard that recording yesterday, it was like being right back there. And I promised myself a long time ago that if I ever had the chance to stop something like that from happening to someone else, I would." She shrugged. "So here we are." Before Tamara could respond, the first bell rang, signaling 5 minutes until classes began. "We should go," Ashley said. "But think about what I said. This movement needs your voice too." As students filed out, several stopped to introduce themselves to Tamara, sharing quick words of support or simply giving her a nod of acknowledgement. For someone who had spent so long trying to be invisible, it was overwhelming. The hallways were crowded by the time Tamara left room 156. As she made her way to her first class, she noticed something strange. Yellow. Splashes of it everywhere. Pins like hers, yes, but also shirts, shoes, backpacks, hair ties. Students she had never spoken to nodded at her as she passed, touching their own yellow items in silent solidarity. Then she turned the corner and came face to face with Heather, Brittany, and Zoe. For a moment, everyone froze. The 3 girls stared at Tamara, at her bright yellow headband and the pin on her backpack. Tamara felt her heart racing, that familiar fear rising in her chest, but she wasn't alone this time. Ashley suddenly appeared at her side. Then Lily and Danny. Then more students gathering around, a sea of yellow surrounding her like a shield. Heather's confident smirk faltered. For the first time, she looked uncertain, maybe even a little afraid. "Excuse us," Ashley said coolly. "We need to get to class." The 3 girls stepped aside without a word, their eyes wide as they took in the crowd of yellow-adorned students. As Tamara walked past them, surrounded by her unexpected allies, she caught snippets of whispered conversations from other students in the hallway. "Did you see that? They actually backed down. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like it." By lunchtime, the yellow movement had spread to every corner of Westridge High. Even teachers had found yellow pens or folders to display on their desks. The cafeteria buzzed with excited conversations about the morning meeting, about what would happen next, about how things might actually change. For the first time in her life, Tamara didn't eat lunch alone or hide in the library. Instead, she sat at a table with Ashley, Lily, Danny, and a dozen other students she was just beginning to know. They talked about the proposal, about next steps, about how to make "We See You" more than just a one-day wonder. And as Tamara looked around at all these people wearing yellow for her, no, not just for her, but for all of them, for the idea that everyone deserved to be seen and respected, she felt something she hadn't expected. She felt powerful. That night, Tamara finally told her mom everything. They sat at the kitchen table, her mother still in her hospital scrubs, eyes tired from a long shift but fully focused on her daughter. Tamara started with the bathroom incident, showed her mom the recording that was still circulating, and explained about Ashley, the yellow pins, and the movement that had somehow formed around her in less than 48 hours. When she finished, her mom was quiet for a long moment. "Why didn't you tell me this yesterday?" she finally asked, her voice gentle but hurt. "You were heading to work," Tamara said, looking down at her hands. "I didn't want to worry you. Baby, that's my job. To worry about you." Her mom reached across the table and took Tamara's hand. "Next time, though, I hope there isn't a next time, you tell me right away. I don't care if I'm about to go to work or if I just got home or if it's 3 in the morning. You understand?" Tamara nodded, tears welling up. She'd been holding everything in for so long, trying to handle it all herself. It felt like a weight lifting to finally share it with her mom. Now, her mom said, switching to what Tamara called her professional voice, the one she used at the hospital when things got serious.
Tell me more about this "we see you" thing.
What exactly are you all planning to do? Tamara pulled out the proposal Ashley had given her, now covered in her own notes and additions. It's like a student watchdog group. We document bullying when we see it. We stand together so no one gets isolated. We bring issues to the administration as a group so they can't be ignored. Her mom studied the document, nodding slowly. This is actually pretty impressive. Very organized. She looked up at Tamara. And you're going to be part of the leadership team? I don't know. Ashley wants me to be. She says since the whole thing started because of what happened to me, I should help guide it. Tamara hesitated, but I'm not sure I can. I'm not like Ashley. I don't know how to speak in front of groups or organize people. Her mom leaned back in her chair. You know, I felt the same way when they first asked me to train new staff at the hospital. I was terrified. Who was I to teach anyone anything? But sometimes we're capable of more than we think. She handed the proposal back to Tamara. Whatever you decide, I'm proud of you. And I'll support you. Just keep me in the loop, okay? Tamara promised she would. Later, lying in bed, she reread Ashley's proposal, adding more notes, refining ideas. Around midnight, she made her decision and texted Ashley, I'm in. Let's do this. Ashley's response came instantly, as if she'd been waiting up for it. Yes. Meet me before school tomorrow. We're taking this to the next level. Tamara arrived at school the next morning to find Ashley waiting by the front entrance, a large cardboard box at her feet. What's all this? Tamara asked. Ashley grinned and opened the box to reveal dozens of bright yellow t-shirts. Each one had a simple black eye printed on the front with the words "We see you" curved above it. My dad owns a print shop, Ashley explained. He helped me make these last night. 50 shirts, first batch. We're selling them for $5 each to cover costs and fund future initiatives. Tamara picked one up, running her fingers over the design. You did all this in one night? When I get fired up about something, I move fast. Ashley handed Tamara a shirt in her size. This one's on the house, co-founder. Co-founder? Well, yeah. This whole thing started because of what happened to you. And your notes on the proposal were fantastic. The stuff about creating an anonymous reporting system especially. I never would have thought of that. Tamara felt a flutter of pride. She'd spent hours thinking about how to make the movement work for everyone, even the quietest students who might be afraid to speak up. So, Ashley continued, we're setting up a table in the main hallway during lunch. Selling shirts, signing people up for the first official meeting, collecting bullying incident reports. You in? It was all moving so fast. Just 3 days ago, Tamara had been trying her hardest to be invisible, to fly under the radar. Now she was about to very publicly put herself at the center of an anti-bullying movement. But looking at the shirt in her hands, at the simple, powerful message, she knew there was only one answer. I'm in. The shirt table was a hit. By the end of lunch, they'd sold every single shirt and had a waiting list for the next batch. Students crowded around, sharing stories of bullying they'd witnessed or experienced, signing up for the official We See You Club, and filling out anonymous incident reports that would be compiled and presented to the administration. Even more surprising were the teachers who stopped by. Not just Ms. Rivera, who'd been supportive from the start, but others as well. Mr. Chen from the math department bought a shirt and promised to wear it every Friday. Mrs. Washington, the strictest English teacher in the school, slipped Tamara a $20 bill and whispered, "Keep the change. What you're doing matters." The energy was electric. For the first time, people were openly talking about the bullying problem that had plagued Westridge for years. No more pretending it wasn't happening. No more looking the other way, but not everyone was happy about the movement. As Tamara was packing up the empty box after lunch, a shadow fell across the table. She looked up to see Principal Taylor, his arms crossed, his expression stern. "Ms. Johnson," he said, his voice clipped, "I'd like to see you and Miss Thompson in my office now." Tamara and Ashley exchanged worried glances as they followed him down the hallway. Students watched them pass, many touching their new yellow shirts in silent support. Principal Taylor's office was exactly what you'd expect. Neat, formal, with framed diplomas on the walls and a large wooden desk that seemed designed to intimidate students sitting across from it. He gestured for them to sit, then took his place behind the desk, steepling his fingers. I understand you two have started some sort of movement, he began. Without proper authorization from school administration. We didn't realize we needed authorization to stand up against bullying, Ashley replied, her voice calm but firm. You need authorization to sell items on school grounds. You need authorization to form an official club, and you certainly need authorization before making accusations against other students. He slid a stack of the anonymous incident reports toward them. These were found in Ms. Rivera's mailbox. Many of them named specific students, including Heather Wilson, whose father, as you may know, is on the school board. Tamara felt a chill run through her. This was exactly what she'd feared, that the system would protect the bullies, not their targets. Those reports are anonymous for a reason, she said, surprising herself with the steadiness of her voice, so students can safely report what's happening without fear of retaliation. Anonymity also means there's no accountability, Principal Taylor countered. Anyone could write anything about anyone else. But when there are multiple reports about the same students from different sources, that suggests a pattern, doesn't it? Ashley leaned forward. And there's nothing anonymous about what happened to Tamara. That recording is clear evidence of bullying, including physical intimidation. Principal Taylor's expression tightened. The incident with Ms. Johnson is being addressed separately. What concerns me is this vigilante approach you're taking. It's not vigilante, Tamara said, finding her voice growing stronger. We're just making sure these incidents don't get ignored anymore. We're creating a community where students look out for each other. And selling t-shirts without permission, he added dryly. The shirts are a symbol, Ashley explained. They show solidarity. They let students who are being bullied know they're not alone. Principal Taylor sighed and leaned back in his chair. Look, I appreciate your enthusiasm for making the school a better place. But there are proper channels for these concerns. Official anti-bullying programs already exist. With all due respect, sir, Tamara said, those programs aren't working. If they were, what happened to me wouldn't have happened. What's happening to lots of students wouldn't be happening. A heavy silence fell over the office. Principal Taylor studied them both for a long moment. Here's what's going to happen, he finally said. The unauthorized sale of merchandise on school grounds stops immediately. If you want to form an official anti-bullying club, you'll need to follow the proper procedures, including finding a faculty sponsor and submitting a formal proposal to the administration. He held up a hand to stop their protests. However, I'm not shutting you down completely. What you've started clearly resonates with the student body, and that deserves attention. He tapped the incident reports. These will be reviewed by Ms. Rivera and myself, and appropriate action will be taken where warranted. It wasn't everything they wanted, but it was something. A start. As they left his office, Ashley looked defeated for the first time since Tamara had met her. He's trying to control the movement, she muttered. Turn it into something official that they can manage and water down. Tamara thought about it. Maybe. Or maybe he's trying to find middle ground, a way to support what we're doing while still keeping his job. You're giving him a lot of credit. I'm trying to see all sides. Isn't that what We See You is about? Ashley glanced at her, then broke into a reluctant smile. Touché, she sighed. So what do we do now? Play by his rules? Before Tamara could answer, her phone buzzed with a text. Then Ashley's did too. Then it seemed like every phone in the hallway was going off at once. Tamara looked down at her screen and gasped. Someone had created an Instagram account called We See Them WHS and posted screenshots of dozens of bullying incidents at Westridge, complete with names, dates, and details. The most recent post was a link to the full audio of Tamara's bathroom confrontation, along with pictures of Heather, Brittany, and Zoe. The caption read, "Time to see the bullies for who they really are." Now we see you, enough is enough. Did you do this? Tamara asked Ashley, showing her the screen. Ashley shook her head, looking equally shocked. No way, this isn't what we talked about. This is public shaming. Students in the hallway were huddled in groups, showing each other their phones, whispering intensely. Some looked excited, others uncomfortable. A few were crying. We need to do something, Tamara said urgently. This isn't right. It's just another kind of bullying. As if on cue, the main doors of the school burst open, and Heather Wilson stormed in, her face streaked with tears. Her father, a tall man in an expensive suit, right behind her. Where is she? Mr. Wilson shouted, his voice echoing through the suddenly silent hallway. Where's the girl who's behind this harassment campaign against my daughter? All eyes turned to Tamara and Ashley, standing frozen in the middle of the hallway, still wearing their bright yellow "We See You" shirts. The movement they'd started to fight bullying had just taken a dangerous turn, and Tamara realized with a sinking feeling that they might have lost control of it completely. "We had nothing to do with this," Ashley said, stepping forward to face Mr. Wilson. Her voice was steady even though Tamara could see her hands trembling. "We don't support publicly shaming anyone. That's not what our movement is about." Mr. Wilson's face was red with anger. "Then what exactly is your movement about? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've created a witch hunt targeting my daughter." Students had gathered in a wide circle around them, phones out, recording everything. Tamara felt panic rising in her chest. This was turning into exactly the kind of spectacle she'd always feared. Then, from somewhere deep inside herself, she found a calm, clear voice. "Mr. Wilson," she said, moving to stand beside Ashley, "your daughter and her friends cornered me in a bathroom. They blocked the door so I couldn't leave. They pushed me. They said awful things about me and my mom. And it's not the first time they've bullied someone." She gestured to the yellow-shirted students around them. "That's why we started this movement. Not to attack or shame anyone, but to make sure that what happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else. My daughter says that recording was taken out of context," Mr. Wilson shot back, "that you provoked them." "There are dozens of witness statements that say otherwise," came a new voice. Ms. Rivera had appeared along with Principal Taylor. "Mr. Wilson, I suggest we continue this conversation in a more private setting." "I want that Instagram account taken down," Mr. Wilson demanded. "And I want these girls suspended for harassment." "We didn't create that account," Ashley insisted. "We have no idea who did." Principal Taylor looked grave. "Let's all go to my office now." He turned to address the gathered students. "The rest of you get to class immediately." No one moved. The tension in the hallway was palpable. Then Heather stepped out from behind her father. Her eyes were red from crying, her usual confident posture replaced by something smaller, more vulnerable. "It was Kevin," she said quietly. "What?" her father asked, turning to look at her. "The Instagram account. It was Kevin Matthews." Heather's voice grew stronger. "He asked me out last month and I said no. Pretty rudely, actually. He told me I'd regret it." She looked at Tamara. "I know because he texted me this morning right when the account went live. Said now everyone would see what a horrible person I am." There was a murmur among the students. Kevin Matthews was known for having an explosive temper when rejected or challenged. "Is this true?" Principal Taylor asked, scanning the crowd until he spotted Kevin near the back. His face flushed with guilt. Before Kevin could respond, Tamara spoke again. "If that's true, then Kevin is just another kind of bully." She looked directly at Heather. "And two wrongs don't make a right." An uncomfortable silence fell over the hallway. Tamara could feel everyone watching her, waiting to see what she would do next. This moment, she realized, would define what the We See You movement truly stood for. She took a deep breath. The whole point of what we're trying to do is to stop the cycle of hurt. To create a community where we hold each other accountable, yes, but also where we give each other the chance to do better. She looked around at all the yellow shirts surrounding them. We can't just be about calling people out. We have to be about lifting people up. Heather stared at her, confusion written across her face. "Why are you defending me? After what I did to you?" "I'm not defending what you did," Tamara clarified. "That was wrong, and you should face consequences for it. But public humiliation isn't justice. It's just more cruelty." She turned to address the whole crowd. "If we really want things to change at this school, we have to be better than the bullying we're fighting against. That Instagram account, that's not who we are. That's not what the yellow stands for." Ashley stepped up beside her. "Tamara's right. Our movement isn't about revenge. It's about creating a community where everyone feels seen and safe." She looked directly at Kevin. "Taking that account down would be a good first step toward showing you understand that." Kevin shifted uncomfortably, then nodded and pulled out his phone. "Fine, it's gone." He tapped a few times, then held up his screen to show he'd deleted the account. "Thank you," Tamara said. Then she turned back to Heather and her father. "Mr. Wilson, I understand you're upset. I would be too if someone was attacking my kid online. But the recording that started all this, that wasn't fake. That wasn't out of context. That was real bullying, and it hurt. Mr. Wilson's anger seemed to deflate slightly as he looked at his daughter. Heather? Is what she's saying true? For a long moment, Heather said nothing. Then, almost imperceptibly, she nodded. We were awful to her, she whispered. Not just that day. For months. We'd say things when teachers couldn't hear. Make comments about her clothes, her hair. She wiped at her eyes. I knew it was wrong. I don't know why I kept doing it. Her father's expression shifted from anger to disappointment. We've raised you better than that. I know. Heather looked utterly miserable. Principal Taylor cleared his throat. I think we've all had enough public drama for one day. Mr. Wilson, I'd still like to speak with you in my office. Heather, Kevin, you'll both need to come as well. He looked at Tamara and Ashley. You two also. As the crowd reluctantly dispersed, Tamara felt a hand on her arm. It was Heather. What you just did, she said quietly. Standing up for me when I've been nothing but horrible to you. Why? Tamara thought about it for a moment. Because treating you badly won't make anything better. It would just keep the cycle going. Heather nodded slowly, then followed her father toward the principal's office. The next 3 hours were a blur of meetings, statements, and difficult conversations. By the end, several decisions had been made. Heather, Brittany, and Zoe received 2 weeks of in-school suspension and would be required to participate in a restorative justice program. Kevin got 1 week of suspension for creating the Instagram account specifically to harass other students. CU was granted official club status, with Ms. Rivera as the faculty sponsor, but with clear guidelines about reporting bullying through proper channels rather than public shaming. And perhaps most surprisingly, Mr. Wilson, after hearing all the evidence about his daughter's behavior, agreed to fund anti-bullying training for the entire school, to be developed with input from the CU leadership team. When Tamara finally emerged from the principal's office, she found the hallways empty except for Ashley, who had been waiting for her. Well, that was intense, Ashley said as they walked together toward the exit. Classes had ended for the day while they were still in meetings, but I think we actually accomplished something real today. Tamara nodded, still processing everything that had happened. It's weird. When this all started, I just wanted to be invisible, to get through school without anyone noticing me. Now everyone knows who I am. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Both, neither? Tamara shrugged. It's just different, but it feels right somehow. Like maybe this is what I was supposed to do all along. Ashley bumped her shoulder gently. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad you stopped trying to be invisible. The world needs more people like you, people who stand up for what's right even when it's hard. As they pushed open the doors to exit the school, both girls stopped short in surprise. The entire front lawn was filled with people wearing yellow. Students, teachers, parents, even a local news van with a reporter doing a live broadcast. What is all this? Tamara whispered. Lily broke away from the crowd and ran up to them. It's gone viral. The whole "we see you" thing. Someone posted a video of that confrontation in the hallway, and it just exploded online. People are starting "we see you" movements at other schools all over the district. She thrust her phone at them, showing social media feeds filled with yellow shirts, yellow signs, yellow everything. All with the same message, "We see you, and look." Lily pointed toward the street, where Tamara spotted her mother climbing out of her car, still in her hospital scrubs. Your mom's here too. Tamara's mom pushed through the crowd and wrapped her in a tight hug. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. So proud. As Tamara hugged her back, she looked over her mother's shoulder at the sea of yellow, at all these people who had come together because of something she helped start. Because she finally stopped trying to be invisible. A reporter approached, microphone extended. Tamara Johnson, you're the student who started the "We See You" movement, right? Would you mind telling our viewers what inspired you? Tamara hesitated, her old instinct to hide still strong, but then she felt her mom squeeze her hand, saw Ashley's encouraging nod, noticed all those yellow shirts waiting to hear what she would say. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. It started with a recording, she began, her voice clear and steady, with 3 girls blocking me in a bathroom. But it's really about so much more than that. It's about all the students who've ever felt unseen, unheard, or unsafe at school. It's about creating a community where we look out for each other, where we hold each other accountable, where we give each other the chance to do better. The reporter looked genuinely moved. And the yellow? What's the significance of that? Tamara smiled. touching the bright yellow headband she'd worn every day since this all began. Yellow is visible. It's impossible to ignore, just like we're refusing to ignore bullying anymore. She glanced back at the school building, but it's also hopeful, like sunshine after a storm, because what we're building isn't just about stopping bad behavior. It's about creating something good in its place. As Tamara continued speaking, her words carried across the crowd, across social media, across a movement that was just beginning to take shape. A movement sparked by a painful moment in a high school bathroom, fueled by the courage of students who decided to stand up rather than stand by, and defined by the powerful message sewn into every yellow shirt and pinned onto every backpack. We see you. You are not alone. And together, we can change things for the better. 6 months later, We See You chapters had spread to over 50 schools across the country. Reported incidents of bullying at Westridge had dropped by nearly 60%. The Restorative Justice Program, initially created just for Heather and her friends, had been expanded into a cornerstone of the school's disciplinary approach, and Tamara Johnson, the girl who once tried so hard to be invisible, had found her voice as a leader, a speaker, and an advocate for change. Most surprising of all was her new friendship with Heather Wilson. It hadn't been easy. There were tears, difficult conversations, and genuine apologies. But as both girls often said when interviewed about the movement they now co-led, real change wasn't about villains and heroes. It was about people making mistakes, taking responsibility, and doing the hard work of becoming better. What began with bullies blocking a black girl in the bathroom had indeed shocked everyone, not just with how quickly the situation escalated, but with how powerfully it transformed an entire community, one yellow headband at a time.